Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country, America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello. This is Alexandra Levine from Alexandra Levine Live. This is The Pulse. We have breaking news. Let's put up the first slide. And breaking news at Real Donald Trump on True Social. He wrote today, this morning, I had a very good call with the interim president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez. We're making tremendous progress as we help Venezuela stabilize and recover. Many topics were discussed, including oil, minerals, trade, and of course, national security. This partnership between the United States of America and Venezuela will be a spectacular one for all. Venezuela will soon be great and prosperous again, perhaps more so than ever before. And we'll get into that after our monologue. So the monologue is, welcome to The Pulse, everybody, again on the America's Pulse Network. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button throughout the evening. I'm your host tonight again, Alexandra Levine from Alexandra Levine Live. So as you know, there are no more Schumer shutdowns, even though Chuck Schumer wants to shut down the government again, of course. Deadline is coming, January 30th. And of course, Democrats and rhinos are still doing the dirty work of Chuck Schumer and of the illegals as well. But have they not learned that they are losing? President Trump is consistently and constantly winning. President Trump is making deals to benefit we the people, not illegal criminals. And President Trump, as you know, is working to bring peace to the Middle East every day and peace for all humanity. But it's still not enough. And the Democrats and the rhinos will stop at nothing to block President Trump, even though he has the power of the pen. Well, their little charades aren't working, and we the people have been calling them out and will not let them get away with it. It's we the people first and no one else. Well, we have a jam-packed show for you guys today, so let's introduce you to my other hosts and guests. My first host, my co-host, Damon Galdo of the Jersey Shore, the Hammer.
Hello, everybody.
And don't forget, he is running for Congress in New Jersey, Congressional District 1. Woohoo!
Yes, yeah. I'm a glutton for punishment.
And our special guest, my fellow Floridian, where it's the land of the free and the home of the brave, my girl, Elana Barber from the Base Mother.
What's up?
You look great.
Thank you.
And we have some special guests. I don't know if they've come on yet, but we do have, there he is, New Jersey Senator candidate for 2026, my very good friend, the young and very smart Justin Murphy.
Al, if 60 years old is young, I fit the bill.
60 is the new 40.
I hope so. Happy New Year, everybody.
And then we have another special guest coming on later in the program. We will bring him on, former candidate for New Jersey Assembly, Jack Brangan. So let's bring on everybody. There we go. Right. So, I started out with, Venezuela. As you know, President Trump came in, got rid of Maduro. That was something that, he talked about for a long time. And one of the biggest reasons that he arrested Maduro is Maduro would go on and do these little videos and mock President Trump. Now President Trump is talking to the interim Venezuelan president. What do you guys think of that? And do you think there will be progress in Venezuela with this new interim president? What say you, Elana Barbara?
Is this, forgive me, I have been so busy paying attention to the fires in America that I haven't been paying attention much to Venezuela. I assume this is the woman who was his vice president who was sworn in after he was kidnapped.
Yeah, Delcy Rodriguez.
Yes, I don't. I think she's got two guns to her head, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because the Maduro regime is going to be telling her what to do, and she does not want to mess with Donald Trump either. This is going to be a true test of her leadership skills and to see if she can balance this and basically save her own neck. Because at this point, I think that's all she's probably trying to do.
I agree with you, Damon. Galdo, what say you?
Basically the same thing. What Elena said, I can't really go against anything she said there. I believe the same. Do I think it's a good thing? Yes, I do. I am more worried about what's going on domestically here, but I think foreign policy is America first policy as well. You have to secure things like this and make sure that we have our, watchers, around the continent, around our backyard. And I think that Trump is doing the right thing. I think, and it would have went differently with the public eye if Biden would have done it, because he's the one that put the $25 million bounty on Maduro's head. But since Trump was the one that actually took action and did something about it, there we go. Yeah, everyone knows about it.
Justin, what say you?
Well, when you look at a situation where a country is changing leaders, the most important thing is transition. If you do not have a transition in place, then what you're doing is probably going to fail. So the transition in place is to work with the existing political infrastructure short term until we change it out for the longer term political structure that we know is committed to freedom, human rights, and anti being used by China, Russia, Hamas, Iran, and all the evil. So President Trump is doing the right thing. Work with existing political infrastructure right now to achieve your ultimate long-term objective, which is to make Venezuela a stable, prosperous, and peaceful country again, which it clearly was not under Maduro. And in the long term, this is how you build a peaceful world. This is how you stop conflict before it happens. Peace achieved through strength. Weakness invites aggression. We're doing the right thing, and he's doing the right thing, I would say, politically and diplomatically. It's, you don't have to start taking everybody out. I mean, look, George Patton used some Nazi and German troops after World War II just to keep order, so society didn't totally collapse in Germany until we got a little more stable, the country a little more stable, to then do a complete clean out the right way. It's always the transition that's the catch. And that's true of the Cold War, the countries that left the Soviet Union in their orbit, and China. The communist countries that always had a transition in place always did much better than ones that did not. So he's doing the right thing. We had to do this. It was long overdue. Thankfully, he did. Peace is always achieved through strength, and that's the rule here.
I agree with you. Turning into domestic issues, like Damon Galdo said, let's put up the first image of what's going on right here domestically, specifically in the state of Maryland. So Montgomery County, Maryland, where I have a residency. There's a bill that's going to help protect immigrants from ICE. So the Montgomery County Council wants to pass legislation protecting immigrants from ICE. The Banner reporter Jeannie Bixby discusses the potential passage of the law. That also happened last night in Baltimore County with the Baltimore County councilman, a Jewish Democrat, Itzi Patoka, who wants to also help protect immigrants from ICE. So why is this a trend here in the United States? What say you, Damon Galdo?
We started on this one. I'll tell you exactly why. Because they want votes. Like, for instance, here in New Jersey, illegal immigrants are issued licenses. And where do you get registered to vote? At motor vehicles. So they get registered to vote. They want their votes, and that's what it is. I'm sure in this past election in November, I can't imagine how many illegal immigrants voted. Well, we'll probably never find out, honestly.
True.
But that's the reason why they're fighting for it. If you go back in the 90s and early 2000s, even when Obama was president, it was all, we got to deport illegal immigrants. They're taking jobs. This, that. They were all for it. And then Trump gets in and it's like, oh, well, we got to have a wide open border so these people can come in and vote for us and keep us in power. That's exactly what it is. It's a Democrat Party that could give a damn about the American people and just let illegal criminal immigrants vote in elections just to keep them in power. And they will fight tooth and nail to keep them in here. And you remember the Maryland dad? I even hate bringing that to, I'm not going to say his name because I can't stand saying it again anymore. Yeah, who would fight for that? Like who? What? One of your senators from Maryland,
Chris Van Hollen.
flew over there to meet with him. Like, who does that?
Kilmore Garcia.
Yeah, I didn't want to say his name.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, same thing here. Like, no, New Jersey, it just went into law for real. It just went to the Senate and passed. We are officially a full sanctuary state. Murphy, on his way out this week, is going to sign it, and now Trump is going to. He already said that he's going to stop funding sanctuary cities and states federally, which whether it holds up in court or not, who knows? But I already know what's going to happen. As soon as Mikey Sherrill, our new governor, sucky governor that got elected, she's going to run with this. So as soon as she gets sworn in, I can see it already. And I wrote an op-ed with another congressman, congressional candidate in CD3, and we're going to put it out there tomorrow.
Good.
It's basically going to be, as soon as Trump says this, then they're going to turn around and say, oh, well, that's why we raised your gas tax. That's why, your property taxes are going up. We're not getting the federal funding. And I want to get ahead of the narrative because I know exactly where they're going with it. They did it with the government shutdown before the November election, called it the Republican shutdown, even though it was not. Everyone who has a brain knows that. But the media ran with it, with that narrative, and that's how we got wiped out in November in New Jersey, Virginia, in New York City, all those different elections that were going on. So I can see it coming, and it's a Democrat tool that they're going to use against the people for votes.
Mm-hmm. And Justin, you're running for the United States Senate's federal level. Federal always overrides state. Why do these elected officials on the state level think it's okay to go against ICE, to go against President Trump, to push these, in my opinion, illegal bills through to not help their constituents, but to help these illegal criminals and put them above the law and say that they're above the law? What say you?
Well, that's just it. I mean, that's hitting the nail on the head, because they prioritize illegal immigrants over the safety and quality of life of legal citizens. I mean, that's why they cater to the criminal, they cater to the open border crowd, they cater to illegal aliens. Now, and we've seen this movie before. You had mentioned this was a trend, and hopefully it's not a trend, but we do know it's a trend in blue states and blue cities.
Yep.
We know that. And that's who's doing this. We have a supremacy clause in our Constitution. Clearly, clearly the federal government trumps state legislation, although there are some matters left to the states, and the federal government is actually limited. As far as immigration, no, it's a federal issue. States can, in some cases, legislate on it, but this is a federal matter that supremacy clause would clearly, I think, win in any courtroom. However, you get your blue state Democrat appointed judge can just start pulling reasons out of thin air as to, why states can do this or pass this and trump this and do that and disregard this law. And unfortunately, that's, as an attorney, I see a lot of our judicial system wading into some very dangerous waters where you get very activist judges and even juries who are just making decisions based on their politics. And it's a very real problem. It's one reason I authored my book titled The Silent Crisis: How Judicial Activism Denigrates America's Constitutional Republic. I published it in late winter and early spring of 2021. And so I keep my finger on the pulse of, legal lawfare and then judicial activism and activist courts. But, as far as why they do it, look, we know why they're doing it. The mask is basically off. They take the side of illegal aliens over American citizens. They're losing on this issue. They're on the wrong side of the issue, but it doesn't mean they will not get a whole lot of votes come November for the midterms. And so we need to be, vigilant. And of course, turnout is everything. It's getting people engaged in all the political machinations of this. But that's why they do it. Damon, you're right. That is the reason why they do it. And as far as the legality is, okay, just now someone has to take the time and find the resources to start dragging these counties and cities and states through court so they understand Constitution 101. You can't do what you're doing. Okay. But they know, I think in a lot of cases, Alexandra, they know what they're doing is unconstitutional. They know it. They're just saying, okay, take the time and the resources and sue us and take 2 or 3 years to figure this out in court. That's why they're doing it.
Well, I'm going to bring up this point, then I'm going to switch to something for Elana. This guy, Itzi Patoka in Maryland, his parents are Holocaust survivors, and he wants to kind of compare the Holocaust to helping illegal criminals. It's so conflicted and it's so appalling. And as a Jewish woman, I find this so disgusting and distasteful that he's throwing that around because it doesn't even make sense. But Elena, turning to what happened with Renee Good, this was a woman who clearly was, on her way to ramming over an ICE agent. And of course, you have these liberal white women that are now shaving their heads in honor of Miss Renee Good. What do you say about that?
What part do you want me to address? I
don't even know.
I know this is this is where you go at it. I love it.
What's going on?
Mental illness part.
Yeah, the mental illness part. I love it.
Okay, let's talk about the mental illness of the Minneapolis mayor, Jacob Fry. Let's start there, okay? Yeah. While we're on mental illness. I mean, so all right, fine, I'm going. So he turns around and he right after when he was saying, he wasn't hit at all. He wasn't hit at all. Then when it came out that he got hit, he said it was no more of a hit than him bumping the refrigerator door closed with his hips. And then it came out today that the agent suffered internal bleeding from the hit. And, I haven't heard from, Jacob Fry on that yet. There is so much mental illness going on around this whole situation. Then you have Renee Good, who, we don't,
not good.
who you have celebrities wearing Be Good pins now because she's some kind of a martyr. And they have even, forgive me, I think it was the New Yorker magazine, the New Yorker that did say the left has its first martyr for its cause. They are actually calling her a martyr. Yeah. She had no business being where she was. She was antagonizing them, all day long and asking for trouble. She was leading a convoy of cars to block ICE. And, when I saw all these protests that busted out across the country, Houston was protesting for Renee Good. I never saw any such protest after 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungray was raped and murdered. Mm-hmm. Baltimore had protests. I never saw anything for Rachel Morin. Athens, Georgia had protests. I never saw anything for Lake and Riley. I could go city by city around this country where there was a protest and where there was an American raped, robbed, and or murdered by an illegal alien, and none of these people paid any attention to those cases. So we have a case of complete Trump derangement syndrome. These people look like they eat SSRIs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They are completely deranged. I understand. I have had really bad PMS where like the synapses are dying and you don't want to be anywhere near me, right? Like there's a part of me that understands what it is to be a little bit unhinged, maybe a little.
Yeah, Damon, Sharon, I want you to put up the images that we have of Mayor Jacob Fry that Elena was talking about. Let's put up that image. I think it was image 3. No, not that one. The one after. Yep, there we go. Minneapolis Mayor Fry defends, quote, perhaps tens of thousands of people peacefully protesting in the streets against ICE. Quote, they are going to stand up for their neighbors. What we are seeing time and time again is unconstitutional conduct by ICE. This is the idiot mayor of Minneapolis. And then let's put up the other image that Mayor Fry wrote as well. Sorry. This is another one. This argument speaks to America's heart and soul. Oh, this is by, Andrew Colvett of Turning Point USA. He wrote, these communist front groups that are training them, they need to have their funding revoked. They need prosecutions, indictments. All of that needs to be coming because this must stop. We, the people, voted for mass deportations. We're going to get mass deportations. And Gunther said, damn straight we are, no matter how much the comrades whine and cry, they're all going home one way or another. And I agree. I mean, we did vote for mass deportations. Switching to you, Justin Murphy, do you think that we're going to have, mass deportations? We're seeing them kind of in Minneapolis right now. The Somalis are being deported and many, many more. But do you think there's going to be mass deportations on the next coming months?
Well, thankfully, they're already underway. I mean, I think to date right now, Department of Homeland Security has publicly stated that as of today's date, 2.5 million illegal aliens have been deported from our country or have self-deported.
Good.
And when you tell them, when Kristi Noem says, listen, you can go back and try to come in the legal way, okay, or if we catch you here illegal, you're going out and you're going to be deported and you will not have a chance. You will not have an opportunity to come in the legal way. So we've gotten 2.5 million out in his first year in office. And we know that's only going to ramp up. And it's, I've always said, and Donald Trump has been very clear about this, we want legal immigration. You come legally,
Correct.
and I expand on that. You come legal, we reward legal immigration, we punish illegal immigration, and we ask when you come here legally, you assimilate. Because assimilation is the real key with immigrants. You don't just show up here. You have to assimilate, become an American. The one reason we're an exceptional nation state is that anyone can come here to be an American, but you come legally and you assimilate. And that's really the name of the game. But, yes, millions have, over 2.5 million. That's nothing to take light. That's a lot of people. And a lot of them self-deported because they see they came here because we incentivize it under Joe Biden. The border's open. You have an app, make an appointment with our Border Patrol, and then they'll turn you loose into the country. You'll get free housing and food and stamps and whatever. We incentivize it. Go to a sanctuary state if you're a criminal. Don't worry. The state government will do everything they can to keep the federal government from deporting you. And it's, you either incentivize illegal immigration or you punish it. It clearly should be punished. We incentivize legal, and then we demand culturally that you assimilate to this American family. And if you can't come here legally and assimilate, don't come.
I agree. I just want to acknowledge before some our viewers that are watching tonight. Thank you for Donald Willinger, Devin Tyler Barber, and many others. I know there's people that are watching that are not commenting, but please comment, please like and subscribe. And I agree with Donald Willinger. If you assault any police officer, you need to be held accountable. If you threaten a police officer with leather force, a car can kill. It is self-defense. Period. End of story. I agree with that 100%. And Damon Galdo, going back to Mayor Jacob Frey, he's telling ICE to get the F out of his city. Is it really his city? Like, what the heck? What say you?
Technically he is the mayor of the city, but federal law supersedes local.
Yeah, but he doesn't own the city. He was
elected. Yeah, I know, but he was an elected mayor. But I'm not defending him whatsoever. He's a scumbag through and through. The guy is like a chameleon. He'll do whatever it takes to get votes as well. You saw him kneel on a George Floyd's casket. Now, listen.
And cry like a baby.
Yeah, and crying.
He knew the guy.
Yeah, do you really think he was sad about George Floyd? Any loss of life is bad across the board for me.
And they were all wearing masks. No comment.
Yeah, but it's like, do you really think he cared? No, he did not. The guy's a scumbag through and through. And I'm just getting tired of all of it. When Justin was saying that the app, when people come over here and come into our country illegally, it was easier under Biden to break into our country than it is to get a hold of a government agency on the phone call. It's easier to break in our country than get a hold of Easy Pass, I'll say, because I just had to make it be on hold for an hour and a half with Easy Pass because somehow it didn't read my Easy Pass and I got a violation in the mail. So. It's unbelievable how bad it is, and I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of all people. I'm tired of like Mark Ruffalo, at the Golden Globes. What is good? Be good. Well, be good. You want to be good? He's saying be like her, then get shot in the head. Yeah, good message, buddy. And I used to like him in movies, and until I realized who he was, I used to like people like Robert De Niro movies until I found out the type of people they were. But they live in a bubble. They live behind gated communities. They have no responsibility other than anything. He even said something about, I'm not going to pretend that this is great for this country. And you pretend. You're an actor. That's what you do for a living. So stop with the pretending stuff. I'm tired of Hollywood.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in segment 4.
Okay, I want to get out.
The whole list is segment 4. But
I'm so bad about that.
Yeah, but we are getting to the end of this segment. Before we end this segment, Damon Sherrod, I want you to play the 43-second long video, and I want Elena to comment on this. This video was great. It was actually on Tim Fazenbaker's Facebook that I think Damon Galdo pulled up from his Facebook. So let's play that video now. Damon Sherrod.
Disrupting traffic, idiots! I can't do that. That's against the law. Bro, wilding. I'm not just gonna throw a fist at y'all, bro. I'm not gonna run y'all over. Get away from my car, bro. Okay, whoa. Get away from my car. Get away from my car. Bro, get away from my car. I have a daughter in Brooklyn. Don't touch him. Get in your car. Get the out of the way. Run him over. Don't touch him. Get out of the way. I have to get home.
So, Elena, as you know, our wonderful governor, Ron DeSantis, said if there's people like that are standing in your way or standing in the way of you trying to get to where you need to go, you are allowed to run them over. You will not go to jail for that. So I wholeheartedly agree with this guy. I mean, if he wanted to run those people over, in my opinion, he should have, but unfortunately he was in Brooklyn, New York. But what say you about that video and that dad and dealing with those damn protesters in front of his car?
I think he showed remarkable restraint, even though he did get out of the car and push, make a couple pushes. He showed remarkable restraint. He's trying to get to his child, and you have these unhinged, literal, like psychopaths who have zero regard for the fact that this is an innocent citizen. You're trying to make a point to the government by terrorizing citizens. What are you doing? I don't know how he did it. To be perfectly honest, that's really my biggest takeaway is if I got to get to my kid at some point, I'm going to move forward, even if it's just taking my foot off the gas so my car starts to roll, and let them take their chances with moving out fast enough.
Justin Murphy, what's your response to the video?
Well, restraint, yes. I like the DeSantis law. They don't understand. You have a right to assemble peaceably. That's what the Constitution guarantees on each and every one of us as an American citizen. Peaceably assemble. When you're obstructing the flow of commerce and people and traffic in the city, you're not peaceable. You're not to mention you verbally abuse people, you throw things at people, you assault them. They just have to. First of all, society has to inflict a consequence on this type of action, and unfortunately, the blue cities and the blue states and the blue governors, they refuse to do it. So this just facilitates and invites more of it. This is the problem. I mean, Rudy Giuliani said this. When he was mayor, you didn't have this problem, because if you acted like this, you were arrested. And if there was 100 people, then all 100 were arrested, and you were punished and you were prosecuted. And the problem today, these liberal politicians in the blue states and blue cities, they swoon over these people. You're great. You're wonderful. You have a right to do this. Donald Trump's a fascist. We need to hear from you. Get out in the streets. Do this. And they invite it, and they facilitate it. They incentivize it by not prosecuting it, not holding people accountable. You can say, I'm your governor, I'm your mayor, and I'm sure you constitutional rights are afforded to you. Okay, but you're not going to obstruct. You're not going to attack. You're not going to vilify. You're not going to obstruct things. You're not going to delay traffic. You're not going to impinge on people and infringe on their rights of freedom of movement. Sit there and watch you people block traffic because you have a point to make.
I agree. Damon, Galdo, you have 30 seconds to respond.
Yeah, I'll wrap this up real quick. What Justin said, it is not prosecuting these people, but what it leads to is something like Renee Good. It leads to that happening, or leads to a Daniel Penny situation. When they let this happen, they let criminals out of jail, they incentivize it, and things like this happen, and it escalates, and it puts more gasoline on the fire, and that's why we are where we are now.
Exactly. Well, guys, we're going to take a little commercial break. We will be right back with segment 2. Stay with us.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up, because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, Elana, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Parler, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution, because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Well, hello, everyone. We are back with segment 2 of The Pulse. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We are on Rumble. We're on YouTube. We're on X. We're on Instagram. We're on Parler. We're on TikTok. We're on True Social. We're on like 7, 8 outlets right now. And again, I appreciate everyone that has commented so far. Please keep the comments coming. Got people commenting from X, from Rumble, from our YouTube channel. So please, guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. So segment 2 goes into from little Marco to bigger Marco. As you know, we have Secretary of State Marco Rubio, but he has dealt himself in so many hats because he's doing a phenomenal job. In my opinion, he's doing a much better job than I ever thought he ever could as Secretary of State. He was the interim NSA director. Now there is an image out. We'll put up the first image, David Sherrod. It shows Marco Rubio finding it has to be the chairman of the Federal Reserve. There's also memes going out of Marco Rubio being the head of Greenland, the head of Venezuela now. I mean, the guy is going to have so many different jobs, coming up, and it's because he's doing a phenomenal job. And now people are even pushing and saying that he should be president in 2028. So what say you, Damon Galdo, about the job that Marco Rubio is doing? And do you think, in your opinion, that he should be president in 2028?
Well, first I would say, yeah, I think he's doing a great job across the board. I like Rubio a lot. I like how direct he is with everything. I like the way he treats situations and how sincere he is with it. Do I think he should be president in 28? I mean, yeah, I would love for him to be president in 2028, but I would also love for Vance to be. But Vance is the vice president, so I don't want to get anything mixed up. If he were to run against Vance, I mean, I want to keep solidarity here. I want to keep the Republican machine going in the White House. And I think the best move would be him be vice president, Vance be president, and then they're both relatively young. I mean, Vance is very young. Rubio, I'm not sure of his age, but I know he's relatively young.
I think he's in his early 50s, Marco Rubio.
Okay. Well, so he
and
can.
JD Vance is 40. Yeah, I think he just turned 40.
So, yeah, I don't see Vance saying, no, hey, I'm not going to run for president when he's vice president. I just don't disrupt, the well-oiled machine we have going here right now. But I would love for Rubio to be president, but also I would love for Vance to be president as well after this. So I think it would work better if Vance ran and he ran on his ticket as vice president.
Now, I turn this to Elana because, as you know, Marco Rubio was our senator in Florida for a long time, and he ran for president. And what do you think of his job as Secretary of State right now? Do you think he's doing a phenomenal job? Has he exceeded your expectations? What say you?
I think he has exceeded every single person's expectations, probably even his own. Marco Rubio is so intelligent and level-headed, and is representing the country with such strength. I mean, he is such a calm, low-key fellow, and yet he's just unstoppable. As far as him running for president, I think he actually might have a wider appeal to more of the nation than JD Vance does. I love JD Vance, but I want whoever's going to win. If we have to choose between the two of them, I want whichever one of them is going to have wider appeal and keep the White House is the one that I want.
Justin, what say you?
I look at Marco Rubio, and he just gets it. He understands. He understands the world. He understands America's place in it. He understands the economy. He understands how technology impacts it. He understands the labor force. He understands what the relationship should be between a government and its people. I mean, the kid he gets it. He understands this world very well, 360 degrees, omnipotently. He really does. And it has served him well as senator, and it's certainly serving him well now as Secretary of State and juggling a number of responsibilities. And look, President Trump would not give him responsibilities unless he had confidence in him. Marco Rubio, he understands America. He understands our history. He understands what we're about, our founding, and he has a very clear vision of where he wants this country to go, whether he's part of it politically as a senator or presidential candidate or Secretary of State. I mean, he is a conservative. You give him A grade all the way around.
Now, JD Vance came in as a baby senator, becoming the vice president. And I said, JD Vance was probably one of the most America First senators when he got in. But, like Justin's point, I mean, Marco Rubio is has been more, in my opinion, more cultural, more well-traveled, just kind of gets foreign policy a little bit better than JD, just kind of gets the people a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with JD is he's the head of the Senate, and he has a big job right now. His job is to keep the Senate Republican-led, but also his job is to make sure that we keep the House of Representatives Republican. As you know, we have several vacancies happening right now. People are retiring, people are leaving, people are dropping out, and the majority of the Republicans in the House of Representatives is extremely slim. So if you're JD Vance, how can you expand and work with Speaker Johnson to expand the House of Representatives, make sure that we keep it Republican? Or are you guys in fear that, God forbid, the majority is getting so small now that, God forbid, we may have Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker of the House? What say you, Damon Galdo?
Well, yeah, I'm afraid of the majority getting small. Yes, absolutely. We had someone that just passed away, Republican congressman. Off the top of my head, I forget the name. I apologize. But yeah, it's getting smaller and smaller. And here's the thing with the whole Vance Rubio thing. The reason I say it that way is Republicans have a tendency to cut each other's throats. Like we might have, we'll kick a gift horse in the mouth. We'll run head first into a tree while kicking ourselves in the ass when we have, the majority or we have the momentum. So the way the reason why I'm saying Vance and Rubio as vice president is because he's the vice president. So that would keep solidarity within the party. If they infight between each other, they run against each other, it's a different thing. Now, Democrats, I'm not saying it's right, but that's the way politics works. I've been involved for a little while now, and Democrats will stick together and they'll pick their people and like, no, this is how you're going to do it. This is how we win. This is how we cheat. This is how we do that. And they have a well-oiled machine. So if we just stick together and have a plan, and I would say that the plan will be that the vice president typically runs for president afterwards if he wants to. Unless he doesn't want to, he wants to get out of politics, or fine, or do something different. That's his choice. But if he wants to run, then I would say Rubio should say, okay, you're the vice president. I'll be your vice president if you ask me to. And I just think we should keep it flowing because we don't need the infighting. And especially here, I'll use New Jersey as a reference. We're horrible as Republicans here. Everyone cuts everyone's throats. They don't care about winning as much as we should. Not everyone, but a lot of people. And that's why we lose. That's why we're such blue state. And we've increased Republican voters here, but people aren't willing to come out to vote because they look at the antics and they're like, I'm not doing that. So,
Damon, can I just say something real quick? About Republicans, sticking together. Yeah, Democrats aren't sticking together; they're just following orders. Those are two different things. Being a cog in the machine because you've been promised something, one thing. Republicans not sticking together. I would rather us not stick together than just be robots to whoever is at the top giving orders. Now, as far as like backstabbing and all that's just across both the parties, and that just seems to be like a politician's required personality. Right. So I want to be real careful about sticking together if it's groupthink that we're talking about, because that is what we see on the left.
Well, no, it's how you build a team. Okay, it's like me at my job. So it's not like you're being told you have to do this, have to do that, but you think about it for the greater good. You say, okay, it's about sacrifice too. So it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to do this because it'll hurt the party. I go by Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment. You don't hurt your party. You don't talk bad about your party. You try to figure it out. What will be the best situation to go? Now, when Democrats, like I said, they stick together no matter what. I mean, I said it before. Democrat could smother a puppy in front of and somebody else, and then they'll be like, "Oh no, he did it for a reason." I know they would still stick together. But I'm talking about Republicans. They don't stick together in a way where they want to do what's better for the people. It's not that they don't want to. It's like everyone's like a me syndrome. So if me in this race, like I'll give you an example. When I ran before and I lost the primary, I I said, I was asked on the radio show, would I support my opponent if I lost? I said, absolutely. I said, of course I would. Why wouldn't I? I said, that's who won the race. I would get behind him. And I actually gave speeches on my opponent's behalf after I lost. And I went to her events and everything else. But when she was asked if she was going to support me, it was no. So that is what I'm talking about. That's the point I'm trying to make.
All right, well, the issue that we're having now is we have, people in our party, they're called the Groypers. That's the Marjorie Taylor Greenes of the world, the Matt Gaetzes, the Candace Owens now. They are big, in my opinion, big thorns in the party. And what we're finding is they're actually supporting rhinos and supporting Democrats like Marjorie Taylor Greene. She purposefully stood by Code Pink. She brought Code Pink in right when the president was speaking. And actually, when he was at a restaurant with his family, this activist person from Code Pink screamed in front of his face. We find that Marjorie Taylor Greene actually infiltrated that. So that is the issue that we're having right now with our party. In the Democrat Party, we have these Democrat socialists. We have Zohra Mandamis, the AOCs, the Bernie Sanders, the Chris Van Hollens of the world, and the Ilhan Omars and the Rashida Tlaibs that are causing a lot of havoc in their party too. And the question is what do we do? I know you all want, or Damon, you were saying we shouldn't, have infighting in the party, but the issue is that people like us, we understand the values, we understand the true values, the hardcore values, but you have these idiots like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson that are the antithesis of what the Republican movement is about, what the MAGA movement is about, what the America First movement is about. So how do we get away from that? How do we educate the voters to be we need to go back to our core values. We need to go back to, what America First is about, what President Trump put together. Damon, I say that to you.
You pretty much said it for me. I'm okay with people questioning things. When you mentioned Carlson and Owens and stuff like that, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that they say at all. But they're not politicians, so they can say what they want to say and go.
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's
Greene, yeah. But then she resigned, which blows my mind. I don't know why she did. I don't know why you would resign early. Why not finish out your term? There's something behind that. With that
cashing in, that's why.
Yeah, with cashing, wouldn't she finish out her term and continue?
Yeah, she still should have finished her term.
I agree she finished her term, but there was money on the line. That's why she cashed out when she did.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I was thinking there would be more money if she stayed in her position and just.
Wouldn't the money have been the same if she had finished out her term?
No, because she was working with a certain company that was giving her $21 million if she left at a certain time. So she was getting $21 million. That's why she left.
Okay, so she sold out. So.
It's called special. It's funny. She was completely against special interests and lobbyist groups. Yeah, that's how she made the majority of her money, was through special interests and lobbyist groups.
Okay, I didn't know that part. I was always curious, why the heck is she going out early when she could continue to collect her salary and just finish her term out?
But anyway, my point is, how can we have kumbaya with those Republicans, in our party, whether they're politicians or not? They're still big influencers. They have millions of followers and people do listen to them. And that's a problem. How do we?
I can't. It's not a problem. It is not a problem because I do not want groupthink. I don't care. I'd rather be the party where we have some conflict and we are able to speak our minds freely and think for ourselves, even if we don't agree on everything. At the end of the day, we all do agree that we want to save this nation. We agree that the welfare has gotten out of control, that fraud, waste, and abuse are too much, that we agree that immigration needs to be reined in, and we're all on board with deportations. The big things. We agree that the education system is crap. We agree on so much, and I don't need us to agree on everything. I would never support groupthink. I just won't.
Devin Taylor Barber, he made the point, we need to be more like a family, not robotic following orders, but to hold each other accountable, to encourage, to uplift, to stay connected. Divided we fall. I agree with him on that. What say you, Justin Murphy?
Okay. I've been involved in politics since 1988. and I've studied political science in college. I went law school. I studied for my master's at Villanova. I got an LLM from Oklahoma University. I've been involved in politics most of my adult life. And I will tell you, any major party, of course, Republicans and Democrats, and Republicans, we've always had fault lines. You know, the Reagan conservatives against the Bush Northeasterner moderate. I mean, there's always a fault line. Now there's maybe a few extras because we have, you know, Make America Great Again, and we'll get to America First. And I agree with Elana. Because I always espouse as a candidate, we should be our party. I like to see our party leadership and apparatus, our county organizations, our state committees promote competitive primaries. We should be promoting exchange of ideas, competitive primaries, facilitate people to step in and contribute, higher levels of turnout. We need to cultivate a better political culture. Now, the problem is it can go so far where you split a party or you take a big piece of it and they want to sit home. That's the line that you don't want to cross. And so it's really a skill set on identifying, you know, exactly where's the collective direction. You know, some of the, you know, I mean, right now you would talk about Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens. And yes, they're influential because of technology today, because they have these social media platforms that can reach hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. So what do you do? It's leadership. Okay. And it's incumbent upon each and every Republican to take it upon themselves to try to not come up with something to impose this. But every Republican needs to say, okay, look, I don't want to be like the left, where they're monotone and they shut down debate and they're into censorship and they punish. We really have to be strong enough to value opinions that are different than ours. And if we can just, again, take it upon ourselves, our political culture in the Republican Party should be to promote a debate and exchange, but it can't go so far where, well, if I don't get my way, I'm not voting for you, or, you know, I'm going to blow the party up, or, you know, I mean, you know, many people have picked a fight with President Trump. They usually wind up regretting it. This thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene, I certainly don't know everything that happened of why she has adopted a much different disposition than she had a year or so ago, where she was very conservative and very pro-Trump and always by his side and campaigning for him. I think it's possibly something personal broke down here, where it sounds to me like she wanted an endorsement, potentially. She wanted something and didn't get it. Correct. And we're going to act out this way. And this is where just being a mature adult is going to really help the process. You know, we're not always going to get our way. Mm-hmm. And I tell people that, listen, don't ever have the expectation that a candidate will meet your expectations 100% of the time. You know, but today social media blows things up, and people are not one thing I've seen, people are not in the mood today or the mode to listen and exchange, but they're not. You say something they disagree with, they recoil in horror. They want to unfriend you. They want to censor you. You're a warmonger. You're this. You're an anti-Israel. Yeah. You're a Zionist, and it just, you know, and it some of the destructive nature of this friction has found its way into the Republican Party. I don't think it's as bad over here as it is on the left. I mean, on the left, you can't. I mean, is there anybody who's pro-life that speaks at the Democrat National Convention every 4 years? Of course not. You can't step out of line. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the Gestapo tactic of the left. And as long as we have a debate and we exchange and we learn from it and we grow from it and we tout ourselves as the party that has the debate. One thing I told people about abortion, about the Republican Party, is we have the debate. We have prominent Republicans who are pro-choice that are elected office holders. We have prominent pro-life conservatives that are Republican office holders. We have the debate, and that's something we don't want to lose, because it's always a good message we can send the American people. Yes, you may not agree with us, but we have the debate. We don't censor people. We don't punish people. We don't call for people to lose their social media platforms. Mm-hmm. But, you know, there is a line. It can become destructive and nasty to a point where it just gets too personal with people, and one camp doesn't want to help the other one if they win the primary. And that's really up to the candidates and some of the political operatives that are hell-bent on running negative campaigns that do nothing but smear and attack and negative. And, you know, we don't need to do that. That's why I have a Senate pledge. It's 11 positive principles and policy positions that I plan on advocating for when I go to Washington. I'm not out there hacking and slashing anybody. I did not spend a dime. I've run for Congress twice. I ran for U.S. Senate last year. I'm running again this year. I have never spent a dime out of my campaign on opposition research to look for something negative. I just don't do it. I'm not doing it now. I still think one reason we have low turnouts and most people sitting home is that they're just not seeing the vision, or they don't think that there's a mature adult in the room. They don't think that there's somebody that can solve their problem. You get, and I try to tell people, this candidate's great. They raised $10 million. What did they say? They paid consultants. They paid the consultant industrial complex to run negative ads about somebody, and then the dinner table issues go up in thin air. And we don't. That's not how we grow an ad.
I agree.
Why people sit home in large numbers? Because they don't see that positive vision, in my opinion. The bickering, the backstabbing.
And it turns voters off. It really does. The voters don't want to see that. It really turns them off.
I believe it does. And
Alexandra, I don't know if you saw, our great producer just sent us something through Signal. It was a video. So if you want to play it.
I didn't see it. Damon, share it if you want to play the video.
I don't know where you want to use it. Basically, it was a woman.
We only have like about 30 seconds left of this segment.
Yeah, we can play it next segment. So I just wanted to let you know that he sent it over. It was something somewhat positive, I would say.
But to end the segment, to Justin's point, we haven't had a lot of big turnout, especially in the midterms when President Trump's name isn't on the ballot. And that's the problem too. And 2026 is a very important election, in my opinion, because again, that determines if we're going to keep the House of Representatives Republican or not. So the 2026 midterms are so important, especially the primaries are extremely important. They're extremely important in Democratic states and Democratic districts and Democratic cities, because we have a lot of municipality races that are up in the primary. And we need strong conservatives, strong Republicans in those seats, like our good friend Tim Fazenbaker. I mean, right now, people are saying he's going to win, but nothing is guaranteed. You always have the rhinos and the Democrats working against him. Nothing is guaranteed. So that's why it's so important that we get people out. And it's the 4 to 5 star Republicans, people like those guys that are like hardcore Republican Trump people. They're the ones that have the low turnout. They're the ones that don't come out in the midterms unless President Trump's name is on the ballot. So, Damon Galdo, you're running for Congress. How are you going to get people to come out for you?
Well, I'm not going to give away my strategy.
Not all of it.
But no, I want to motivate the younger base. I've been working with Turning Point USA, working with the young Republicans in all 3 counties, and they're interested in getting involved. And I have a plan that's going to get everyone together and motivate these voters to come out and actually raise money for candidates. And that's the thing. It's very hard to raise money in a D10 here because everyone dismisses it as an automatic loss. And you won't get money from the RNC, but I mean, I will get the backing. Well, I know I will when the conventions happen. I believe that I will anyway, from different counties. At you have to raise a lot of money. You have to convince people that, hey, listen, why are we still D10? Why do you complain about Donald Norcross and his family getting indicted so many times and they believe he stole money and all that stuff? Well, if you complain about it, then you need to throw money at it for the win because it's the richest family in the state of New Jersey. So if you want to change it, then you're going to have to donate to a candidate. And I hate asking for money, but I'm just saying, it's not me, it would be Justin. But if you want to make change, you have to jump on the areas that are the areas where you want change made. You can't just throw money at red districts that it's a win.
Yeah. That's very true. And Elana, you and I are dealing with a gubernatorial race. As you know, President Trump, he's already endorsed Byron Donalds, but there's people that are, going against Byron Donalds. There's a lot of constituents in Florida that are conflicted. With Byron Donalds is the next governor, and the lieutenant governor has thrown his name in the ring. And my aunt has met him. My aunt actually works for the VA in Pembroke Pines, and she liked him. And the guy's a veteran himself. So there's a couple people that may not go for Byron Donalds. Is that going against the America First MAGA movement if we all don't vote for President Trump's endorsed candidate?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think I can only speak for myself. I think that as it gets a little bit closer and there's more information out about all the candidates and I see who's still around in April, and I start doing a deep dive, I think I can make a decision. I think I'm smart enough to make a decision without just blindly following what Donald Trump wants me to do. I have been supportive of Donald Trump since he came down the golden escalator. That does not mean that I just hang on every word he says and agree with every move he makes.
Well, there you go. Well, we need to get to the next segment because we're reaching the top of the hour. Stay with us, guys. Coming back, segment 3, jam-packed show tonight.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, Elana, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Parler, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Hey guys, welcome back to The Pulse, starting segment 3. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Again, we are on all the major channels. We're on Rumble, we're on YouTube, we're on X, we're on True Social, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Parler. So please follow us at America's Pulse Network and follow every one of us. Me, Alexandra Levine, Elana Barber, the Base Mother, Damon Galdo, the Jersey Shore, and Justin Murphy for U.S. Senate 2026. So let's put up the first image for this leading into this segment, Damon shared. So President Trump, he truthed out today, under my stewardship, the economy is booming. A manufacturing renaissance and soaring household incomes are powering GDP gains that have not been seen in decades. And we are undergoing a disinflationary boom. The private sector is growing over 5%, thanks to the most business investment we've ever seen, maybe in history. And inflation trends are looking good. All the smart money knows the hottest economy in the world is the USA. Time to invest. And as you know, the president was in Detroit, Michigan a couple of days ago, speaking at the Detroit Club and talking about how all these cars now are coming back to America. And I think it's because of all the tariffs that he's put on these foreign countries. He's tired of things being made outside of our country. As you know, in his first term, he said, buy American, hire American, and he's keeping to that. As you know, it's the coal miners, it's the oil welders, it's the backbone of our nation. Those are the majority of the people that reelected President Trump, especially in the Rust Belt of Michigan and Wisconsin and Ohio and so forth. So what say you, Justin Murphy? What do you think, how in your opinion, is the economy going? Do you think it's booming as President Trump was saying, or do you wish that there would be just a little bit more boom as we are approaching now his first year in office?
This is a phenomenal economy right now. And I tell people when I speak that, the Republican Party this midterm is going to have to run and defend on the Trump record, whether you like it or not. And fortunately, right now, this economy is, well, first of all, we have a secure border. Okay, we have falling crime rates. We have inflation that was a 40-year high under Biden at 9%. It's now 2.7%, major decrease. We have falling interest rates. Okay, we have 43 states have gasoline under $3 a gallon. We have wages are rising. We have high labor force participation rate. Okay, we have investments coming in this country in the trillions of dollars, which sends a message to our young people. Yeah, the plants aren't built tonight, but it's a policy benefiting the next generation of Americans, and it's worrying about the next generation and not the next election. You got housing is much more attainable now by Americans. In fact, I just heard a stat today from some economists that housing starts and sales are pretty sky high. Our productivity is sky high. Our GDP is over 5%. This is phenomenal. This is absolutely a phenomenal economy. It is amazing. I mean, think about it. You got low interest rates, low inflation, a secure border, falling crime rates, rising wages, labor force participation is high, energy production is skyrocketing. We just exported 100 million tons of liquid natural gas, the most ever. This is why gasoline prices are falling. I mean, the economy is sound as it's great right now. Where you want to work on healthcare inflation and do a little more for home ownership. Those are the two big things we need to tackle. But it is phenomenal to look at the statistics. I mean, if you're a Democrat, you're up at night. I mean, what do you run on? Let's go back to an open border. Let's go back to high interest rates. Let's go back to 9% inflation. I don't think so. It is phenomenal, and I think we have an opportunity to embrace it and run on it. Democrats will be on the wrong side of all these issues, as usual.
I agree with you. Damon Galdo, you're in the construction business. How is your business doing?
Construction business is doing okay in New Jersey. But I want to touch on the economy. Just said, yes, nationwide is it booming, gas prices are down, all that. But my issue is why in New Jersey do they vote Democrat? Because I try to get the message out to people all the time. If you look at, I just wrote an article, I'll put it on Substack. If you look at minimum wage in New Jersey, it was raised from 2018 to today, 85% it went up. Now, if you look at middle class income, it went up 22% from 2018 to today. From 2020 to 2024, when Biden was in, there was 23% inflation. So middle class got wiped, and anything they gained wiped out. But then a job, entry-level job, or was supposed to be for minimum wage, and I don't think you should have one anyway. If you don't want to work for a company for $1 an hour, then you just go find anywhere else. But middle class is getting smoked in New Jersey. They really are. We're getting because if you look at it, we get double and triple tap. Number one, middle class didn't get any wage gain out of the inflation and their wage. We got a net negative. They raised minimum wage, which I'll use an example. If you go to like Walmart, Dollar Tree, where they're forcing them, owners to pay employees a certain rate, so prices go up. Who's the number one consumer? Middle class people, because they have families, not the single person out of high school with an entry level job or anything like that. So it raises prices as well. And then the gas prices were going down, yes. But then what does New Jersey turn around and do? Oh, we're going to up the gas tax. So they just raised the gas tax again. That's a blue state for you guys. So
that is the fault of your governor. That's the fault of Murphy. The new governor is going to be Mickey Sherrill. I mean, she'll make it worse.
She's going to make it worse. It's a fault. It's a fault of people not stepping up and getting the voters out there to vote, making sure voter integrity is there, to make sure we don't have illegals voting. And now we're a sanctuary state now, and
that's because they do not require photo ID to vote in your state.
Exactly. And if I want to leave New Jersey, they're going to tax me on the way out. We have an exit tax.
And that's why DHS and ICE is coming to liberal states and cities and pulling out all these illegals to hopefully help you guys in the elections, but also because these are criminals. These are criminals that were put back on the street because of Joe Biden and Barack Hussein Obama. And that is Thomas Homan's job as the border czar. That's DHS Secretary Kristi Noem's job, is to pull out all of these illegal criminals out of these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. And what President Trump wants to do is reverse and get rid of these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. And the more he says, I'm not going to fund them, I'm telling you, it triggers a lot of people because they need the money, and the voters come knocking, where the hell's the money? And that's the problem.
Yeah, and they have.
Go ahead,
Elena. I was going to say they're going to make it harder to deal with ICE now that they just passed this in Senate. So they're not going to cooperate with ICE whatsoever.
Yeah, Elena. Elena, what say you? Let's turn you.
They're not cooperating with ICE anyway, so they can. Right. This is all just symbolic as far as they can pass all the resolutions and laws they want. It doesn't matter. Look at Minneapolis. Here's the state I happen to know offhand. The state of Minnesota. 9.1% of counties in Minnesota are registered as 287G participants, which is a program by ICE in which they deputize local law enforcement to perform immigration, officer duties. So by comparison, 100% of counties in Florida and Texas are registered. So all the local law enforcement has deputies who are doing immigration enforcement. So, Minnesota, almost none of them are doing it. If I took a minute to look it up, I'm sure it would be the same in New Jersey. So they're already not doing it, is my point. And yes, they're going to continue to raise the taxes, and the liberals won't stop and look and say, wait a minute, can we stop spending somewhere instead of raising taxes? Can we look at the spending? They won't do it. They just don't do it. And part of New Jersey's problem is that now for decades, liberal New Yorkers have been moving to New Jersey. New Jersey used to be a quieter state. I don't know what the politics were 40 years ago. I was a little kid. I wasn't paying attention, but it was definitely a quieter, smaller place. And you get all the liberals from New York that have infiltrated and completely taken over. And Donald's in the comments here, or Devin in the comments. So many people here in New Jersey are pissed off. Not enough.
No.
Not enough.
No, it's true. Not enough. And what baffled me is, President Trump, he campaigned in New Jersey this time. He had 100,000 people at a huge rally in Wildwood, New Jersey. Like, that was insane. Yeah. And I felt, in my opinion, I didn't think that Donald Trump was going to win New Jersey, but I felt that he was going to just move the needle a little bit more to have Jack Ciattarelli as your governor and so forth. I really thought that Jack was going to win it this time. I really did. I had high hopes for him.
Me too.
But it's very sad. And again, it's because of the illegals that are in your state. It's because your state does not require a photo ID. And it's because of your liberal leadership. It's because of Patrick Murphy and others down the line that have heard it for, good, solid people to take over your state and to be better. Look, I deal with it in Maryland all the time. We have Governor Wes Moore, who is going to win re-election, and he is one of the worst governors out there. And each governor, and we see each liberal governor is involved in some type of fraud. Tim Walz is involved in a huge fraud. I'm sure Wes Moore is involved in fraud. Governor Whitmer was involved in fraud. All these liberal governors are involved in fraud. And so are these liberal mayors. I just want them to go in and arrest these idiots already and just get it over with, get it done. It's insane. It's really, really insane. And again, it's really sad that these blue states are in my opinion, ruining it for the whole nation. They really are, in my opinion. What say you, Justin?
Well, yeah, we know the blue state phenomenon. Like I said, we talked about it earlier. They're on the side of the criminal. They're on the side of the illegal alien. They're leading the charge on campuses to, vilify and denigrate America, white people, Christians, men, free markets, capitalism. I mean, this is, an infection of Marxism in our society, and we better cure it because it's like a cancer, and it can kill you if we don't get a hold of it. Mm-hmm. What do you do with a blue state? You have to flip it red, and there needs to be political consequence to their actions, and until there is, they're not going to change. And until it's going to take a couple blue states really standing up and either electing someone like me to the U.S. Senate or Damon to Congress, and there's opportunity. That's why we have to keep fighting. But if you look at the political culture, and right now it needs a lot of work. But you can identify where the problems are. It's blue cities, blue states, governors. They won't enforce the law. They invite and incentivize the problems. A sanctuary city. Yeah. This idiot today, this mayor of San Francisco today, signed a bill for reparations. I mean, first of all, California was never a slaveholding state.
I know.
I know.
I mean, who are you going to give reparations to? Who are you giving? Who's paying them? I mean, an immigrant comes here from somewhere of any number of countries on the continent of Africa, and he's living in California, and you want him to pay another black person? I mean, are you? It's just they are so delusional and just complete denial of reality. So you do have to look at this and say, well, how do you win these blue states when you have people like this running it? The number of people sitting home because the level of apathy is so high. I mean, it's things I'm trying to address for the campaign. I know, Damon, you'll have to do the same thing because we're in a blue state. But the good news is that because of the turnout levels of where they're at, if we can spark and inspire people, we do have an opportunity to win in these states. And that's, we're trying to catch lightning in a bottle, but we'll have to see what happens.
Well, we have about, sorry, we have about a minute. I just wanted to touch on this 30-second response for all you guys. So there was another vote about the Affordable Care Act. should we extend it? Should we not extend it? What was saddening to me is 18 Republicans actually voted to extend it, because their argument is, well, I have people in my district that are on the Affordable Care Act and they need it. But these are Democrats. These are Republicans that are kowtowing to their Democrat constituents that never voted for them, that are never going to vote for them. A good friend of mine, Congressman Max Miller of Ohio, his district is part of Cleveland. These voters that he is talking about, they'll never vote for him. They're all Democrats, but he voted to extend the Affordable Care Act because he's like, well, I'm thinking about all my constituents, even the ones that didn't vote for me. Exactly. Damon, got a 30 seconds response. What do you say to these 18 Republicans that decided to extend the Affordable Care Act, which, by the way, most doctors don't even accept the Affordable Care Act anymore?
Real quick, it's because they're running for re-election and they don't want another government shutdown. And they don't want to be looked at as the person that held up the government. And
good point.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. And it goes back to what I said earlier. These politicians, especially career politicians, care about their power and getting the vote in. They don't care how it hurts people. They don't care that it costs more money to extend the Affordable Care Act. They don't care about raising your taxes. They don't care about a goddamn thing other than getting elected. That's why people like Justin.
I was just so shocked at Max because I met him and he has a huge Republican area, Strongsville in Ohio. They love him, but then he's kowtowing to the Democrats in his district that don't ever vote for him. It was just, it's asinine to me.
Some of the problem, Alexandra, is the GOP doesn't really have their feet underneath them for the healthcare issue. And until they do that, the senators are going to say, look, if we get caught as the party that pulled your subsidy in the midterm, we're going to pay a price and possibly lose control of one of the chambers. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that at all.
30 seconds, Elana.
I'll pass. I'm good.
You sure? Okay.
Sorry, I got distracted.
That's okay. I mean, we don't really deal with that in Florida too much. I mean, we pretty much have lawmakers that, understand, the healthcare in around the nation. And of course, our governor, Ron DeSantis, he doesn't believe in expanding the Affordable Care Act at all. I mean, and when he was a congressman, he was like, we need to repeal and replace this damn thing.
One thing we have to let people know, Alexandra, is the Democrats shut the government down and they screamed about how they were fighting for healthcare subsidies. The fact is, those healthcare subsidies they were fighting so hard for were for insurance companies, not your average American in the middle class trying to make it happen every week.
Exactly.
And that not enough people know that.
Yep.
And if I'm
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Oh, it's true. It's a great point. Right. Okay, guys. Well, we got to get to segment 4 before it turns to 9:30 because we only have 15 minutes left of our show.
Yes.
So please, guys, stay with us again. We've had a jam-packed hour and a half. Coming up, segment 4, right after the break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Well, guys, where's Elana? Did she hop off?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, well, anyway, we are back with segment 4 of the Pulse. Again, thank you to everyone who has commented so far. Keep the comments coming. I know there's a lot of people that are watching the show that have not commented. Oh, there you are. Yay, Elana. Thought we lost you. But again, thanks, guys. Again, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the America's Pulse Network on Rumble, X. We're on Parler, True Social, Instagram, TikTok. We're on all the major platforms and Facebook. Now we're on Facebook. So please, guys, we are live streaming. So this segment is funny. So I don't watch the Golden Globes at all. I really don't. I only watch like the end highlights just to see what the idiot celebrities wear. Because maybe there's somebody with some decent fashion that doesn't show up, wearing practically nothing. But of course, the Golden Globes, they never disappoint. They always have morons. They always have people that don't wear underwear or undergarments. And of course, they have to, make sure that an African American woman wins a Golden Globe, because if not, the Golden Globes are considered racist, and it's about racist people and black hating people that, always give the white man the awards or the white woman the awards. So they gave a black woman, Tatiana, a Golden Globe. So maybe the people of Hollywood will stop bitching that black people don't get Golden Globes and Academy Awards, but we'll see. So anyway, so at the Golden Globes, and I know Damon, Galdo, you touched on this, you can open this up again. They were wearing these like Be Good pins because they were in solidarity to Renee Good. So it's funny how the Golden Globes in Hollywood, you always say, well, we hope that our actors and actresses don't become political. But what we're seeing over and over, and this is since President Trump has been our president once and now twice, is that the more President Trump is out there, the more political these stupid celebrities become. What say you, Damon?
I say, shut the F up. I don't want to hear it. Period. I mean, if you want to, listen, you're not elected, number one. I know we're not elected, I am elected on committee, but it's just, we're involved in politics. We talk about politics, we follow it. And so I'll give us a pass to talk about these things. But when a Hollywood actor just living behind a gated community comes out and wears a Be Good, you have no clue. You have no clue what it is to live a real life. Now, I'm not jealous of them. I'm glad that they've got rich and famous and stuff like that. They did some good acting and got on movies and made some money. That's the capitalism. That's the beauty of it. But shut up. I don't want to hear. I don't want to go to a football game and watch you kneel. Okay, to the American flag, to the national anthem. I don't want to watch it. I want to watch a movie because it's entertainment. That's your job. Like, I don't go to my job every day and talk politics at all. The guys would be like, shut up. They don't want to hear it. We're there to do a job. So I can't stand these Hollywood actors. I can't stand how they politicized the Golden Globes and they think they have a voice. And well, they do actually, because they're on TV and they can put it out there. But it's like, no, stay in your lane, do what you do, and don't be political unless you're going to run for office and actually do something. Wearing a pin and then saying something is nothing. If you actually get off your ass and do something physically and to help, then I'll listen to you.
Yeah, what say you, Elana? I mean, you have idiots like George Clooney and Julia Roberts, and then you have George Clooney's wife, Amal Clooney, who is a part of the ICC, who, of course, is trying to put Netanyahu in jail. I mean, this guy is great. And then you have George Clooney, who is parading for Joe Biden. And then he says, Joe Biden actually wasn't really an actor physically fit to run for office, but I got paid to go around and promoting him. So yay. What say you about that?
I'll say I'm saving a lot of time and money by not participating in any of their Hollywood, productions, whether it's film. There are a lot of concerts that I just will never go to again. You put out a new album, Bruce Springsteen, man, he was like one of my number ones. I own all of his albums early, like from his obscure stuff early on, every word to every song. Never going to buy an album. Never going to go to.
And they did a movie about him too, and it tanked.
I'm not seeing it. I'm not going to see it. So it's like, I don't. They're American citizens. They're citizens of this world, and if they want to have opinions and be public with them, I'm okay with that. But they just need to be okay with me telling them to, go scratch.
Yeah. And Justin, what do you think about all these celebrities? They have big mouths, but then they say, I'm moving out of the country. I'm going to move to Mexico, or I'm going to move to Canada. Like Robin Wright, who was married to Sean Penn.
Yeah. Look, this is selective outrage. Yeah, it's selective outrage on hyper overdrive, caffeinated, and steroids. It's selective outrage. Were they concerned about Sarah Beckstrom, the National Guardswoman that was shot and murdered?
Nope.
No, of course not. Were they worried about any of the families that have lost a family member to a violent illegal alien that had been deported and has a history of violent crime? It's such selective outrage. I mean, they don't lift a finger for someone unless it fits their narrative. I mean, I say it all the time. Every 6 months in this country, we lose between 2,000 and 3,000 young black men to a violent crime in our city streets. And it's a black on black violence. And so it is never discussed. It is never talked about. Their lives don't matter. It doesn't fit the narrative. So put a lid on it. And it's the selective outrage. It's the selective outrage.
I agree with you. Go ahead, Elana.
Just real quick, you just made me think of something for the first time. Had the ICE agent who shot Renee Good been black, we wouldn't be in this situation.
No, it's like Ashley Babbitt. They didn't care about Ashley Babbitt getting shot for no reason. I mean, this woman, because
they couldn't demonize the black officer.
It doesn't fit their narrative. So it's the selective outrage. It's so, I mean, it's so evident to see, but still, there's a lot of Americans that just are disengaged and they don't pick up on it. They've done everything to vilify ICE, verbally harass them and denigrate them, calling them Nazis and Gestapos and white supremacists, and then somebody shot up an ICE facility in Texas. They're actually shooting at them, ramming incidents. This is the first time somebody jumped in a car and tried to run over an ICE agent. I mean, 3,200% increase in ramming attacks against ICE agents in 2025 alone. I mean, it's the selective outrage. And they're the way they do facilitate and invite this violence. And it comes from it's not just a fringe group. This is, you hear this from mayors and governors and elected officials of the Democrat Party. You're going to see this year, you'll see quite a few primaries on the Democrat side where you have the AOC crowd running against, if there are any moderates left. I don't believe there are. But they're going to drive their party into the ground further. That's why I say
a lot of moderate Democrats are actually leaving the Democrat Party and becoming Republican because they feel that their party has left them.
Bring on the midterm.
I agree with that 100%.
Bring on the midterm.
Fetterman making sense. Every
time. Yeah, Fetterman. Every time it has a stroke, he makes sense. But and they're trying to primary him out. And who do you think is trying to primary him out? The Socialist Democrats, the Chuck Schumers of the world. They want to get rid of him because he's making sense, because he doesn't sound like, a typical, Democrat. He's actually making sense. He's sounding more like a moderate. But one thing that the Golden Globes didn't bring up last night, and we'll bring this up, the first image, Damon shared, is our First Lady, Melania. She has a documentary coming out. The Kennedy Center will host the January 29 premiere of Melania, the eponymous documentary focused on First Lady Melania Trump. Amazon reportedly paid $40 million for the documentary and its follow-up docuseries. So this is something that people need to watch. The day in the life of Melania. This is when President Trump was running for the second time. It goes from, as he is winning the second term, to him taking the Oval Office and being sworn in. I mean, this is what Hollywood should have been promoting last night.
So you're saying they didn't bring this up on Golden Globes at all?
Of course not. Of course not, because it's Trump's name, because it's the First Lady. And I mean, it's disgusting. And kudos to Amazon. Of course, it's Jeff Bezos, who is great friends of the president. Paid $40 million for the docuseries, and it's going to be shown nationwide. I encourage everybody to go and watch this documentary. And it's funny because they show snippets of it, but you have to see it all in real time. Because what I read and what I know is that Melania, she wasn't with President Trump the second time. She knew in her heart he was going to win again, but she wanted him to be the one to say, honey, we won it. Like, we got it. So that's actually the full clip. They show like half clips of it, but it also shows her leading up to her wearing that hat on Inauguration Day, how her body language has changed, how her outfits have changed. She's more business-like now. She wears suits. She is like no BS. And the people that work under her now are people that she truly trusts and people that have her back. And as you know, she protects her son, Barron, 100% to the core. His life is very private for a reason. It's her only son. She wants to make sure he's protected. And I love this new attitude of hers. I love this new First Lady, so to speak. And of course, she still keeps her big best campaign going to stop the cyberbullying and so forth, and to protecting the children. She's all about protecting the children. And she's actually done a lot of great work working with Vladimir Putin and Zelensky to stop the killing of innocent children in both of their countries. So I applaud a lot of what the First Lady is doing. What say you, Elana, because you do a lot of documentaries. What say you about this?
I'm really excited to see it. I thought there was another one coming out in theaters also. Am I mixing them up?
I thought it was in theaters December 30th, and then now they're making the premiere of it in the Kennedy Center January 29th.
Okay. I'll have to look into it, but I do.
Yeah.
I'm dying to see it, and if I missed the opportunity,
And get her book too. Get the book.
Yeah, I mean, she's a really interesting woman. She's extremely intelligent. They've made fun of her, relentlessly. She's been, disregarded and pushed out of the higher social circles. But she's on top of the world, and she's a role model for conservative women as with regard to how to conduct yourself. She's the picture of grace under fire, and I can't wait to learn more about her.
I agree, and I just want to ask this question to you guys and also to our viewers. A lot of people say they're a Republican. A lot of people say they don't want to call themselves a Republican. They want to call themselves a conservative because they feel that the Republican movement, again, is not the same as what they thought it was years ago. They want to say they're more of a common sense conservative or just a conservative. So, the question first to Damon and then to Justin, because you guys are you running as a Republican? I mean, obviously there's going to be an R at the end of your name, but are you telling your constituents, I'm running as a conservative? I'm a conservative in the Republican Party.
You asking me first? Or?
Yeah, you, Damon, and then Justin.
Okay. I would say conservative. Common sense. I'm running on common sense. And Republicans are more on the side of common sense. I used to be a Democrat, and everyone knows that, years ago. Until they lost their damn minds. And so I was told to be Democrat. I'm in the union, Carpenters Union, in construction, and all the rank and file men and women that work in the construction business now are all turning Republican because these people are batshit crazy. So so that's why I'm a Republican, but I'm a conservative through and through. I'm on the side of life. I'm on the side of common sense. I'm on the side of no men and women's sports, no transing the kids, parental rights. I mean, it's just the simple common sense stuff. I mean, that any normal person would think that is okay. But when you see pronouns and stuff like that, what's your pronoun? I don't know. I'm a dude. I'm a guy.
Yeah.
I'm a they, them, him, zer, z's. It's shut that. What's wrong with you? I'm on the common sense side. So yes, I am conservative, and that's why I'm a Republican.
Big it.
Yeah, Justin, what say you?
Yeah. I announce myself as an unapologetic, pro-life, Reagan, conservative Republican. I mean,
Nice.
Obviously, I'm running in the primary, so I'm a Republican, and I'm conservative Republican. I know not everyone is. In New Jersey, we have an awful lot of. The Republican Party is really comprised of three groups: conservatives, what you would consider moderates, and then libertarians. And that's really our mix in the Republican Party. Now, I'm a conservative because I think we could. We need conservative principles. People have to know what we stand for, what we believe in, what we're willing to fight for, how we define ourselves. And you do that with a set of principles and a core underlying ideology and philosophy. And that, for me, is the conservatism that Ronald Reagan brought to the party and to America.
Awesome.
Sorry,
Elena, what say you? I know, I was reading Donald's comment too. Damon, I'm a lesbian trapped in a man's body. He's hilarious. Elena, what say you? We only have a few minutes.
I describe myself as a conservative, and even in my content, I recently just made a plea to my fellow conservatives. That is the terminology I use. Not that I have anything against being a Republican, but it has kind of gotten generally just designating with a party as a citizen has just gotten an icky feeling because I don't trust any of them.
Yeah, I consider myself a common sense conservative. I love that term when President Trump came up with it. And I do believe in the Constitution. And I know Sean Hannity calls it the constitutional conservative, but I don't use the term Republican anymore. I use the term conservative because the Republican Party is very different from what I knew it when I turned 18 years old. So that's why I call myself a conservative now. But before we go, I want to plug in, some campaigns. Of course, as a political consultant, I must talk about my clients. So I please encourage everybody to go to timfazenbaker.com. It's FAZNBAK.com. Tim is having a big event with Newsmax syndicated radio host Rob Carson this Saturday in Dundalk from 6 to 8 p.m. At the Bayside Grill. And it's another launch of his campaign, and you get to hear a lot more of what Tim has been doing. So please, guys, go to timfazenmaker.com, get your tickets. It's $25 for general admission, and of course, there's $100 to $200 if anybody wants to sponsor. And Damon, let's plug in you. So how can people donate to you?
Go to votedamongaldo.com, DAMONGALDO.com, and click on that donate button. I always say this all the time. Hate asking people for money. I'm just a regular guy.
I don't mind.
I'm going up against a juggernaut who could snap his fingers and raise $1 million in a second. And that's the thing. It's unfortunate money wins campaigns. That's why we actually started this network and my podcast as well, is to get the message out there. So it's very hard to raise money in the D10. And that's why we have Justin all the time. Justin's a great guy. He'd be a great U.S. senator. And that's why I want to have him on, because it is hard in the state. We're a blue state. But everyone knows my social media handles, and that goes across the screen all the time. But votedamongaldo.com.
Well, I just want to say on behalf of my show, Alexandra Levine Live, I fully endorse Damon Galdo, and I fully endorse Justin Murphy.
Honored.
100%.
Honored. Thank you.
Move to New Jersey so you can vote.
There you go. So, Justin, please plug in your campaign.
Yeah, if you go to my website, it's Jersey Justin 4 Senate.org. Jersey Justin 4 Senate.org. And on there, I have links to my YouTube channel, X account, Facebook page, and Instagram. So, and right from the page, and you can look at any one of those platforms, and we'll see what happens. It doesn't have to necessarily be a tough year. President Trump's first term, the Democrats did take back control of the House in the midterms, but we actually picked up Senate seats that year. It was a split. We picked up Senate seats in his first term's midterm. But we lost the House, and we had nothing but 2 years of impeachment. And hopefully we won't have to go through that again. But it's incumbent upon all of us. We need to be on offense. We cannot lose the battle of messaging. We need to be on offense. We have to energize our base, inspire people to vote for us. Donald Trump is doing the right things. He addressed the nation the other night at 9:00 to talk about the economy. He's had rallies in Michigan or Pennsylvania, at 2 of them. And he's talking about having a convention this summer for the midterms, as we would have a convention every 4 years for our presidential ticket. And I think that's the best idea I've ever heard. It's going to be about, being high powered and on offense. It really is, because we need to turn out. We have to inspire people to turn out for us if they're not going to. And that happens with ideas and connecting and resonating with voters. And to me, the conservative set of principles do that.
It just real quick.
We have like 10 seconds because we're over. I just wanted to
go on the convention part. I'll talk to you about that later. So.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Elena, plug yourself in for our viewers.
You can find me at The Based Mother on all the usual places: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Truth, Parler. See you there.
Awesome.
I follow you.
And guys, don't forget, tomorrow night is my show, Alexandra Levine Live, from 8 to 9 p.m. And this Sunday, we have Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And don't turn that dial to him. Sorry, I was like, watch that dial, watch that show. And of course, we have
jealous of my golden hammer.
Exactly. And we have, of course, Damon Galdo of the Jersey Shore every Monday and Friday night from 8 to 9 p.m. And again, next week, we have The Pulse from 8 to 9 p.m. You never know who's going to be on. So you guys got to come on and watch. So again, guys, don't forget to follow us at America's Pulse Network. Again, we are on YouTube, we're on X, we're on Rumble, we're on Parler, we're on True Social, we're on TikTok, Instagram, we're on all the major social media platforms. Of course, Alexandra Levine on Facebook, at Alexandra LEVI20 on X, at ARLevine85 on Rumble, TikTok, Parler, True Social. I'm everywhere. So thanks, guys. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you, Alexandra.
You're welcome. Believes in
Thanks
God.
for moderating tonight, Alexandra. Awesome show.
Thank you. I know it's been a while.
No, awesome show. Great show.
Thank you, Elena.
Yeah.
Yes,
Awesome, guys. This is great. And, guys, don't forget to watch us again. The America's Pulse Network is the heart of America, the pulse of America. We believe in God, country, America first. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.